All right, so let's go ahead and go over the results from the first standard challenge with Lorwyn Eclipsed. Uh, I apologize if I pant like a dog. I just ate a bunch of spicy ramen, but let's get into it. All right. First place, we have Leyline of Resonance. I haven't looked at all the decks yet, but to give some thoughts. Yeah, so I think if you have a metagame that is full of people playing Llanowelf, Badgermole Cub, and then trying to like Crater Hoof, it's pretty reasonable to do this and just go fast. A lot of those decks don't have that much interaction, and you can kill people on turn 3. So yeah, Leyline of Resonance continues to be a sort of broken, fragile magic card. But it regularly wins tournaments, and people just kind of don't play it. So if the metagame shifts into a place where a lot of people are playing the new black removal spell, that could be bad. But still, yeah, this deck seems reasonable. You have the red Saga for card advantage from the sideboard, Links for extra burst, and then you can kind of just switch. I wouldn't be surprised if sometimes you're just taking out the ley lines and switching to a more traditional red deck. But yeah, this is the deck that got first place, so there you go. Second place, the red deck. Shock is good against Llanowelf. So here we have main deck Fanatical Firebrand, another card that can answer a Llanowelf. Do doesn't do much against Gene Pollinator, unfortunately, but combos with Odre, you can get 4 to the face. Also can just do beatdowns. We have a blue splash for Viper. So yeah, just Odre red. Nothing too crazy there. No new cards. Next, we have the Bant Airbending combo deck. I apologize, it will not show the images. Everyone knows this deck. I don't think there's anything crazy to talk about. I don't think there's anything new in the sideboard. So, old deck. Yep, combo deck for your standard, yada, yada, yada. Now, fourth place, we have the Landfall, Aggro, Combo, whatever you want to call it, Beatdown deck. Again, I don't think we see any new cards, so I would say this is almost like, I don't want to say it's too early in a format, but it's the first day. Like, the cards just came out, so a lot of people don't even have the cards yet. If you guys want to see another update later, maybe tomorrow or in a couple days after that, I can do that. I like trying different things like this. This isn't the type of video I normally make, but it can be appealing for so. Fifth place, we have Izzet Lessons again. No new cards except for Spell Snare. Spell Snare, I think, is a big deal. It is a very powerful card. I think it's a very useful card. It's really good against Esper Origins on the flashback. If your opponent kicks, consult the star charts. You can counter it. Counters Helix, Cub, Leyline Weaver, all sorts of different things. Not surprised to see it here. Good against Artist Talent, and it is a way to counter your opponent's Ancestral Recalls. So yeah, good card. I think this is gonna be interesting because the Pro Tour is coming up. So I don't know how much of an effect this is gonna have on that format, but I do think it is an incredibly important card, and one of the more powerful counter spells in Standard. So arguably the most powerful. It might be. The curve of decks are forced downward when you have such a large card pool. So a lot of the decks are just 1s and 2s, and Spell Snare is going to be a way to trade up on mana, and that's really useful for these blue decks. I might even try some mono blue decks just because Spell Snare lets you sort of break serve. Sometimes it can be difficult to do that with mono blue decks. So yeah, Spell Snare good. Sixth place, what do we got? This is Simic. So yep, Regent, some Mockingbirds, broken card, Quantum Riddler, almost broken, maybe broken card, Orborod, obviously broken card, Badgermole Cub. Yeah, this is just the 3-year standard special. You got your foundations, you got your different high power level sets, and you've got a great mana base. So this deck is very good. I would not be surprised if we see cards exit the format because of the existence of this pile. But yeah, there's counterplay to it. It's not like the end all be all. It's not the biggest boogeyman. The way Wizards does things is kind of unpredictable and confusing to me at this point because they were very anti-ban, and then now there's 10 cards banned in Standard. I don't really know what's going to happen. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you disagree. But I do think Badgermole Cub is probably the second strongest card in Pioneer and the strongest card in Standard. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think this deck's good. I think this deck will probably show up at the Pro Tour. It wouldn't blow my mind if this was a deck where a lot of people decided like it just has this issue with whatever the rock paper scissors that the new metagame presents, and people shouldn't play it because of that. But I think especially post board, this is just a deck where I don't people cite like Pyroclasm and you just play Shock and this, that, and the other thing, but you can sideboard more lands. You see that right here to compensate for the mana creatures dying. Quantum Riddler is just a disgusting card if you can empty your hand. Nature's Rhythm is also just power level outlier. So yeah, this deck is incredible. But you know, maybe the red leyline decks can punish it. Like I said, there's only 2 bounce offs, so not that many ways to interact with what the red leyline deck has to offer. So sideboard, I don't think anything crazy going on here, but yeah, this deck is very good. This is the style of thing that I would work on if I was playing in the Pro Tour. Okay, artist talent, monument, no spell snares here, so yeah, stock list, sideboard, nothing new. You got it. And finally, in 8th place, we have... Okay, this deck's cool. I did actually look at this deck. So this is a blue-white flash deck. I don't want to... I don't think I would build my version of this deck the exact same way, but I think a lot of the principles here are interesting and appealing. 4 High Noon is a lot. You could play some number of High Noons. I don't think I would play 4. But yeah, Aang, Aven, Curiosity, Flood Pit Drowner, Glenolindra is a way to counter non-creature spells, and it's another flash flyer. Voice of Victory plays well with Enduring Curiosity. Not sure I would play the full 4, but Avatar's Wrath's pretty interesting. Spell Snare here. No More Lies, Get Lost, Seam Rip, Ajani. Again, I don't know if I would match these numbers if I was building a deck like this, but like these options are incredible. Like the fact that you get Rest in Peace in your side deck, you can play up to 4 Seam Rips, you can play up to 4 Spell Snares, you can play up to 4 No More Lies. You can really customize a deck like this any way you want, and the biggest deal for this deck is Hallowed Fountain, right? Specifically, like red, black, blue, white, and green, white had horrible mana bases because they didn't have shocks and they didn't have a fast land. So these decks getting shock lands is a really big deal. So blue-white decks get a huge boost, red-black decks get a huge boost, and green-white decks get a huge boost. So yeah, cool deck. Looks fun. Like I said, a lot of tuning could be done. Seems solid. And Spell Snare is a nice way. Spell Snare and Seam Rip are both pretty nice ways to sort of catch up on the draw, which is important. All right, so let's just do top 16. I think that'll cover the most. This is Teamer, so we got Seer as a new card. This is the instant speed deal 4. Tough as the red-green legend off the splash, and then I assume there's some of the green disenchant somewhere along the way. Spell Snare in the sideboard. Yeah, Slag Storm, Ral, Flash Freeze. Yeah, a lot of these monument decks have been splashing green. I assume it is just because it's appealing in the mirror. Having disenchants is not something that blue and red gets, so the green gives you access to ways to deal with your opponent's artist talent or monument to endurance. 10th place. This is just is it mid range? Is it scam? Is it cards? Whatever you want to call it. We got Splash Portal, and then a bunch of good is it cards. Soul Guide Lantern to fight against the Sultai Reanimator deck. That deck's seemed pretty popular on Arena. I don't know how popular it is online. But yeah, this deck's solid. Just another is it deck that gets to enjoy an enormous card pool full of cheap cards. So yeah, Quantum Riddler, good card. 11th place. Yep, Monument. Okay, nothing crazy. I think we're no green here. Yeah, not much to say. Moving on, 12th place, we have Duels the Mind, Fear of Missing Out, Quantum Riddler. So this is just a different take on the Is It deck. We have new card in Giant Fall, which I believe this is like, I think it's your creature does damage equal to its power to their creature, or their creature does damage equal to its power to itself, something like that. But I believe it's a modal card. Maybe it has Shatter on the other part. Might have to look that one up. But yes, 3 Spell Snares seen here. Frostcliff Siege to help beat down with Hasty, Duels in the Mind, Quantum Riddler, Fear of Missing Out, all that stuff. So just another variant of the Izzet deck. You know, you could ban another 10 Izzet cards, and a different Izzet deck will pop up in its place, in those decks' place. So is it good? 1 and 2 mana cards, good. Large card pool, low CMC, good stuff. And if they keep printing cards like Spell Snare and whatnot, I don't think that will ever change. So, effect Izzet for Eternity. 13th place, we have Jeskai Control. Deck's been very popular. No Shikos anymore. Just some abrades, consult, revelation. Do we have spell snare here? We have no spell snare. So one in the sideboard. That's funny. Well, this person's just not into committing. Anything else new? I don't think so. Just one spell snare in the sideboard. So this is a deck that could play 4 spell snares, 0 spell snares, whatever you see fit. Spell snare does seem pretty decent against the deck. Given abrade, consult, get lost, helix, no more lies. All things that can get countered for 1 mana, which is pretty appealing. I have blue black. Danny Lakos normally just plays the same stock list every time. Do we have new cards? We do. So this is, I believe this is Flash 1/2. Target creature control becomes a 4/4. So we can make Deep Cavern Bat big. We can make, I guess Cecil's already 4/4, but just you can make your blockers larger. They block a Flood Pit Drowner because it seems free. Bump it up. You block with your 1/1, make it a 4/4, all that stuff. So interesting card to play. It seems pretty powerful. It's kind of hard to gauge exactly for me. Yeah. You'll note 2 spell snares is a new card. Stab over the new 1 mana removal spell. That's something I've been thinking about. I don't really know which one is better. Like this can fog into Ouroboros trigger, right? Like if it triggers once, gives you tapped out, and then next turn it's going to trigger again. You can just shrink it to 0 power. Maybe that buys you enough time. Also, like things like Tishana's Tideminder, right, is not going to die to the Fatal Push that kills 2 CMC or less. Stab will kill those things. So I don't know. Like Preacher of the Schisms, if your opponent blocks with a 2/4, you can stab it to shrink it. So I don't think it's so simple that the new removal spell is just always going to be better than this. But I do assume the new card is probably better. But this person decided for stab. Annul. Anything else new? Okay, so yeah, there's the hex in the sideboard. This is the card I was talking about. So interesting, worth thinking about, worth noting. This is a very good player, Moto Grinder. So, pay attention. Ooh, Fire Shoes. Let's go. The GOAT in 15th place with Goblins. So I don't know what all of these Goblins do. Mostly new cards. You see a Kranko. I don't know the names of the Goblins, but I believe one is like you get to look at cards your opponent in your opponent's hand for each Goblin you control, and then they have to discard one. And if it's an instant sorcery, you can cast it. I think for any colored mana. One of them will just pick up a Goblin, add to your hand. I think this is the 1-drop. It's like a 2/1. You have to behold a Goblin or spend 2 mana. Then whenever it dies, you get to kill a creature that's 2 CMC or less. So cool to see Goblins. I'm gonna make sure to leave a link to this, so if you guys want to like export it and look at the deck list and look at the cards, you can do it that way. But I think this is the most, how do I say it? The most Lorwyn-y deck of all the things we've seen. So happy to see Fire Shoes getting it done, 15th place with Goblins. Finally, we have Salty Orange with 3 spell snares in blue-white. No red, nothing crazy. Hollow Fountain, got a Hollow Fountain. 4 Get Lost, 4 Normalize. Elspeth is a win con. River Regent. Yeah, looks good. Looks like a solid list. 26 lands. Very solid. I hate Get Lost, but I get it. And yeah. Okay, we'll cheat. We'll do one more because this has new cards. Sideboard. Okay, so blue black. Okay, this is 1 mana 2/2 comes into play with a -1/-1 counter, and I think you get to spend 3 mana to remove the counter. Whenever your creatures hit, you get to draw. So this is sort of like an Enduring Curiosity on a 1-drop. Not sure how good this one is, but we cheated. We showed 17, but that is it for the video. Hope you guys like the quick update and then the peek in on what the Magic Online players are doing with the new cards. Again, if you guys want like an update, a few days, more interesting stuff, let me know. Let me know if you like these videos. Let me know if you don't. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.